What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brian from B1 Photography and L Boston Collective, and we are here with another fire interview from Boston Talks and the beautiful and talented Paulina Miguelska. I'm pretty sure I butchered that whole thing. She's gonna correct me in a second, I promise. She is a fiber arts creator, a talented young lady, and somebody that we're gonna talk to about some very interesting things, something that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, Paulina, how are you today, Paulina?
I'm good. Nervous.
Nervous?
But, you know.
There's nothing wrong with being nervous.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
I guess that's not unique, I suppose.
Well, I've always said being nervous is a good thing. If you're nervous, you care. And if you care, you're gonna try as hard as you can. And if you try as hard as you can, we're most likely gonna get something.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I try not to do is have emotions about another emotion. So if you're nervous, just be nervous. It's fine.
Okay.
You don't have to be scared, mad, sad, any of that stuff. Just be nervous.
Well, it's just a conversation.
It's just a conversation.
Things are not here.
And it's gonna be good.
Okay.
Trust me.
Yeah.
But I've been saying this. I tell people this all the time. Like the breaks, the conversation and the breaks are the best parts, right? Like I get really good information. And you said something in our break before we started this show that kind of really stuck out to me, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about because I feel like it has a lot of negative connotation to it. And that is that you said before we got started that you are, for lack of a better word, neurodivergent, right? Like you were diagnosed as autistic, and you also believe that you have ADHD.
The reverse.
Reverse.
Diagnosed ADHD, but I'm pretty sure most of it. Yeah.
All right. So what is that? How did that come about? Right? Like I would like for you, because I really believe that there's probably a lot of people out there who feel the same way that you do, and I also believe that because we put such a negative connotation on these things, that people are afraid to speak up or talk about them or admit that I might be in that, right? Because they don't want to be thought of as less than or any of those other things. And what I have found in my experiences in people that I meet who do have these neurodivergence aren't any less than. It's just they're different. That's all.
Yeah.
Right? And learning how to deal with different people, like as an artist, that's just art in general. Like we're all weirdos. We just learn how to get along with
just
each other.
Different types of weirdos.
Right. And we find solace in the weirdness, right? Like, oh, I'm not the only one.
I know.
Right? So I would like to believe that, I would like to hopefully reach somebody out there who's feeling like they can't be their natural weird selves, and let them know that it's okay, and that they can not only be their natural selves, but also be successful in whatever that they want to do.
I'm loving everything I'm hearing. Trying to figure out which part do I need
I went on for so long, but please.
No, but there's a lot that you said that was very kind of key to like the overall theme of this conversation, right? And my art practice. You know, you mentioned the stigma, which is still there.
Yeah.
But it's changing, and I'm seeing a lot of kind of positive changes. There are certain contexts when I'm totally comfortable saying I'm neurodivergent, diagnosed ADHD, also feel that I'm most likely autistic. The two, when combined, they kind of create a unique kind of combination where you don't really externally appear as either. But that's a whole different story. But in the context of art world, ever since I've become more active, and maybe I should take a break and just a small tangent. Me being comfortable calling myself an artist, it's a fairly recent thing, maybe 3, maybe 5 years or so. I've always been very creative, kind of, do-it-yourself kind of person. Always loved crafts. I grew up in a crafty family, but I never thought about it as art. There were a few things I want to say maybe like in the past 8 years that kind of very gradually contributed to just the way that I think about it. But that's a whole kind of different conversation. But coming back to the neurodiversity, ever since I've become sort of more active in the arts world in the city, in Boston, I found a home. I can't tell you how many times I've been at a craft fair and I'm talking to another vendor, turns out, diagnosed or not, which, by the way, I do believe that self-diagnosis is very much valid. It's like they're weird in their own way, and I'm weird in my own way. And if it wasn't for that weirdness, none of us would be there. No, pouring our like hours into a thing that well, maybe someone will buy it, maybe someone will not. Like, I'm not making a living out of it, but I love doing it. Like what? Like it's a weird feeling, but it's genuine.
I think I get exactly what you're saying. You don't create. It's not about the money. It's about the creating. Right? When you're an artist, when you're a creator, it's about creating. Like, you figure out that there's a way to make a living off of your creation.
And some do, and that's wonderful.
Right? But at the end of the day, it's about creating in general. And what I found, especially as an artist myself, is that what I'm not creating is when things are not going well. Right? Like, I get very stuck in my head. I'm all of a sudden I'm trapped in a sea of thoughts.
It's an outlet.
It's very much an outlet.
But one thing that I sort of kind of missed in sort of going through that whole kind of is that once I became active in the art world, I feel that there's a very high representation maybe perhaps even overrepresentation of neurodivergent folks, whether they know it themselves or not, in the art. Area.
I would agree. I would not be surprised if the majority of artists weren't some kind of neurodivergent in some way, shape, or form. It's about getting rid of the stigma. And you brought that up earlier, and I agree with you. Like, at the end of the day, the stigma is there because the neurodivergents don't fit into whoever's idea of what the world of reality is supposed to be.
And also, the world doesn't tell us the whole picture of what it means. When I was diagnosed with ADHD, what I was told were three things. A, that it's mild. Actually, it was two things. A, that it was mild, and two, that I'm very smart. And I'm like, did I ever say I'm not? I never had issues with that.
That part.
Like, I remember being surprised. This is before I knew anything. I didn't even know about the stigma. I was like, why are you reassuring me I'm smart? I'm like, I feel I'm okay. Like, I'm not extraordinary, but I'm like,
when I know it's I don't even wait, what?
Right.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I was never unsure of my intelligence. That was never the problem.
Right. But apparently people out there think ADHD, lack of intelligence, and by the way, the same applies to, autistic individuals. But that's what I was told. And this was back in, 2008? I was in my late 20s, right?
Are you serious?
Yes.
In 2008, they said that to you?
Yes. But it was only in the last 5 or 6 years. And it's mostly, I don't know what qualified, it has been through social media, but I am in therapy, so I always kind of, bounce off the things that I see online in conversations with my therapist.
Very much so, you gotta do that. I do the same thing.
Yeah. But I learned so much more. There's so much more to it. It's not just that. There's this thing called executive functioning. The idea of transitioning from one thing to another. Like hyper-focus. There's just so much more depth to ADHD. There's a lot of struggles. Which oftentimes are not because I want to be careful with it because I don't want to say that it hasn't made my life difficult, but I want to say that probably my feeling is a lot of those difficulties stem from the way this world is set up. It's not set up for minds like mine.
No, it's not.
So because there's this one side of things when people are like, oh, it's a super skill. Sometimes, yes, it can feel like a super skill, but oftentimes it's not. It's kind of both.
I completely understand, and I understand the super skill aspect of it. I have a number of people in my life who suffer. Well, I won't say suffer. So I have a number of people in my life who have ADHD. Intelligence is not their issue. If there is any issue, I would say that they have. It's this weird need to finish your sentence.
Yes.
Right? And then don't understand why their finishing of your sentence is wrong. It's like, but you didn't let me. That wasn't. But no, you were gonna say. No, I promise you, I wasn't gonna say that.
That is, yes. This is something I've been working on. So one thing that I've recently learned about ADHD.
Hold on, before we get there, I want you to finish that thought. Okay. We're gonna kick it to break. When we come back, I'm happy to finish that thought. All right. B1 Photography, L Boston Collective, Boston Talks. We'll be right back after this.
I realized that I was in a room and I did all the work, and then that individual just take the work and present it and receive all the accolades. And then I said, no, this is not right. And this happens to a lot of people. You know, they're there, they're holding that ceiling up so high for everyone to take. But when people receive, they forget to thank the architect, the person that did the work. And this is how Remember Me and Company came about. I like to honor people. I feel when you are here, you should be honored. And we should just really stop giving people things, but start giving them themselves.
And we're back with Boston Talks and your boy Brown from B1 Photography and L Boston Collective here with the beautiful and talented Paulina. And we were in the middle of our conversation. Well, you were in the middle of a statement that I had to cut you off for, and I apologize about that. But I would definitely love for you to finish that thought.
You know, we were talking about ADHD before.
Yeah, you don't remember?
I don't remember. I know something about ADHD, but I have no idea what I was.
Well, we both might have ADHD because I don't remember either. It's all right. But so we were talking about neurodivergence and you were talking about.
So the art community, I feel like I have no statistics. I don't know if the study's been done, but I feel like we're overrepresented.
I represented. Why is it over? Why is it too much?
No, that's so not over as in too much, but that people who are neurodivergent tend to be weird and therefore, I don't know, more expressive statistically.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
I don't know. I mean, I went to art school, right?
Okay.
I went to Mass College of Art. I was in art school for 4 years. I didn't graduate, but that's another conversation. I don't know if I went to school with a lot of people who were neurodivergent. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I can't really tell you. But what I can tell you is, when I got to art school was the first time I felt like I belonged. I actually just had this conversation not too long ago, right? And it was the first time where I walked into a room and was like, oh my God, you're weird too. Oh, you get it.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can be differently weird.
But we're both weird. But it's,
right? Yes.
Right? But we're both weird. And we're both like, oh,
yes.
I'm not the only weird person.
Yes.
I mean, you're differently weird, but you're still weird.
Yes.
So
yes.
we're okay, right?
Yes.
Like it's cool?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
To be in a room where everybody is just so comfortable with, or
on the journey to become comfortable, because that's a whole thing for me.
Or you can see them relax in this, oh wait, it's not just me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And they kind of like relax and open up and they let their artistic side out, right? That was, I thought, was the beautiful thing about art school, was like being around other artists and not feeling so weird and out of place, and then having all of the art just be influential, right? Like it didn't matter what I was doing. Like I'm at art school. Would you be going to draw? Okay, let's go draw. Like I can't draw, but I'll do it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Just realizing, right? Like it took me a little while because when I first got there, it was just like one of my great things I like to say. Art school was very eye-opening because when I was in high school, I was one of the 5 best artists in my high school. Right? I would argue that I was top 3, but that's arguable. I was definitely top 5. I got to art school, and I was in a school that was full of the best artists from their high school.
So all of a sudden it's like from best to kind of
to
average.
middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Right. I went from the best to average just by changing schools. That was very eye-opening. But being an artist, it didn't take very long to realize that artists tend to be pretty supportive. At least in the avenues or the people that I was around in the time that I was in art school, right? We were pretty supportive.
So I didn't go to art school, but in my time, since I've been comfortable calling myself an artist, the artists I've met,
right.
I can definitely.
The artists.
I feel that.
It's
I
very.
I feel the sense of community. I definitely
art is
feel
very
yes.
much a community,
Yes.
and you know, the passionate ones will sit down and have an hour-long conversation with you. They will. The ones who aren't, there'll be a-holes and.
Well, that happens too. There's a-holes everywhere, right?
Exactly. But I find true passionate artists are passionate about their art. And if you ask a question 4 hours later, they'll be like, oh my God, did I even answer the question?
And that supports my theory that we're all ADHD and something, and, right? Like.
Yeah. I mean, I get exactly what you're saying, right? But yeah, I've definitely have met lots of weird art people, and I love them all for all of their weirdness. And I think it's also made me personally okay with, when other people, when you see people who aren't artists, and they're in situations where they're like, I don't know, and they get all, I'm like, so, why you what's so weird? As an artist, I'm always around weird people. I'm always in weird situations, so I'm never uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it makes me uncomfortable when people are uncomfortable just because somebody's weird.
That's what makes people interesting.
Ain't that the truth?
It is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, not
So,
from me.
Tell us more about because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No, it's okay.
Tell us more about your craft. Tell us more about Paulina and her craft.
Sure. I'm trying to think which angle. There's something I've been meaning to say since the beginning of the conversation, because the way you introduced me is talented. And I've heard that word a lot, especially now that I've put my art out there, and I call it art. People say you're talented. I reject that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm talented.
Okay.
I just love crocheting. I love creating. I do sew. I do embroidery, know a little bit of knitting, but crocheting is sort of is my craft of choice. I do it a lot, and the more I do it, I get better and better and better at it. And I almost feel like when I think back to being a child, or even looking at my nieces and nephews, they're all very creative. I think we're all born artists in one way or the other. But then, whether because of our society or the way schools are, it's driven out of us.
Yeah.
Stop being weird.
Yeah.
Conform. Do this and that, right?
Yeah.
And also the other part of it is, the reason that it's only recently that I've been calling myself an artist is because what I thought art is what's in an MFA.
Right.
Which that is art.
Right.
But there's so much more to it.
So much more.
Right?
Yeah.
And so my art being fiber arts historically have been kind of seen as lesser arts. Arts, not art. Arts. Crafts, right? The thing that you do, usually done by women, usually done by lower classes, right? And it's until recently, everything that I crocheted was for a purpose, like a functional purpose. A hat, right? A blanket. It's fairly recent where I kind of, branched out. I was like, well, let me make something just to express an idea.
Right.
That's fairly new to me, right? But there's that. And I'm so sorry, but I kind of went on a tangent.
No, you went on a great tangent.
I feel like there's 2 things I said, but I don't know what the kind of conclusion of that is.
So, you started off with rejecting being talented, but I would argue that all you did was solidify that you're talented.
Well, I guess it depends on the definition of talent.
I think, nobody wakes up and, well, I won't say nobody. There's
some, yeah.
There
sure.
are savants. The rest of us are just passionate about something and do it until we're good at it.
I would say there's an inclination. Like, I don't know how to draw. Maybe if I try to draw a lot and I would do it enough, then maybe I will become a great person who knows how to draw. But like, I also don't enjoy the process.
Right.
So I do think that I'm naturally inclined towards fiber arts because I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Right? And because I do it a lot, then I get pretty good at it. So maybe if that's the definition of talent, then that's great.
I think the definition of talent is you've put so much time into your craft that you're good at it. And that's talent.
Okay.
Right?
Then I stand corrected.
With a little bit of natural gifts, right? You naturally are able to see the patterns and whatever, but with the work that gets you to the next level. With that, we're gonna kick it to break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes after these short words. Brian, B1 Photography, Al Boston Collective.
I listen to more kind of like R&B, hip hop, soul, stuff like that. And so singing rock was also kind of a unique challenge. But it was so fun because singing rock is so free. We talked about that kind of freedom in singing. You're not restrained whatsoever, especially when you're singing songs by like the Chili Peppers. They're so wacky and just crazy, and Aerosmith and like all this stuff. You can really just like go out there, let loose, put your all into that, put your all into that song. So it's just been an incredible experience thus far.
And we're back. It's your boy Brian from B1 Photography and Al Boston Collective, here with the rejectedly talented Paulina. Because I said she's talented, she's completely rejects that, but it was a good conversation, and it's.
No, I accept some of it.
You accept some of it?
It depends how we define talent.
It depends how we define talent. Okay, but with all that being said, I just love the idea that we can even have that conversation, right? That I can say that, hey, I think this person is very talented, and you can be like, I don't think I'm that talented. And I can be like, I don't agree, but I still think you're talented.
Well, thank you.
You're very
welcome. Thank you.
So, I'd like to kind of finish fleshing out like what we talked about in the past 2 segments. And then before we finish up, you did have a request that we're going to try to get done at the end of the show. But before we do that, I want to make sure it leaves you some time to let the people know what you're into.
That's going to be hard for me.
And what
like look at the camera and just.
Or you don't have to. You can just look at me and tell me, and then we can just play it out if that makes it easier.
Okay, it might.
Right. It's all about comfortability, right? That's what we're all about. But I always tell people. I always tell the crowd out there that we have some sparkling conversations in the breaks, right? That helps us get through to the next segment. I think we've talked about a lot of really deep stuff, but I don't think we talked enough about your art. I think I would like to hear just a little bit more about your art, what that entails, what does that look like, how do you go about creating?
Good question. And I don't necessarily want to bring the conversation back to ADHD or neurodiversity.
You can.
But the way I create and get my ideas, I mean, it's just so much. So I'm looking for interconnected with it.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
So, for example, so these days mostly what I do is I make crochet earrings. I make some keychains and other things. But the way I decide, okay, what am I gonna do next? What colors am I gonna use? So sometimes it's planned. Sometimes I wanna, do a theme, but sometimes honestly, it's usually those days when I feel like frustrated with myself. I'm not productive, or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I decide to let go. Whatever I have in front of me. For example, I only have these colors I use now, right in front of me. Just do it.
Right.
Like, let go of that perfectionism.
Right.
Which, at the beginning you asked me how I would describe myself. I would also describe myself as a recovering perfectionist. perfectionist.
Oh my God,
And that is
love
one
that.
of it. So I love it too.
Yeah.
And I can't
I'm not
take credit.
recovering yet. I need to get to
So recovering isn't necessarily that I've recovered. It kind of,
Yeah.
it goes back and forth.
Right.
And when I say I love it, it's like I can't take credit for it. I've heard it from someone else. I honestly don't remember where, but I really love it because it's described who I am. But it's at the moments when I let go of the perfectionism,
Right.
that's when the best stuff
Comes.
comes out.
Yeah.
And so, for example, the earrings I'm wearing right now, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't be able to create something like this.
Really?
So these are supposed to be fall foliage.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, when I first started making the earrings, I wanted to make sure that one is exactly like the other one. Size, switches colors, but this forces me to be the opposite of that because no fall, fall leaf is the same.
Same. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Right.
So it forces me to just go with the flow, right?
Right.
Which, again, for a perfectionist, recovering or not,
Right. It's very hard.
it's very hard.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I found that I've created my best art when I've let go of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you let go of the perfectionism and just let yourself freely create, right? Like whatever is inside of you, whatever is motivating you, whatever is moving you, whatever your mind, body,
Yes.
and spirit is telling you to do, allowing yourself just to do that and not
Right.
trying to jam it into a framework of this is art, right?
Yes. The other thing, and then this is a little, I want to say maybe like sad, but I found that I'm most creative when everything else in my life is actually just objectively
Crazy.
crazy
Yeah.
or just hard or traumatic.
Right.
That's when I create my best stuff. Also because that is when I turn to I just gotta create.
Right.
Like, call it this association, because I feel like that it is that in part. But oftentimes when I create, it's to escape reality.
I get that. And that actually makes sense with the neurodivergence, right? You're extremely overwhelmed, and the one thing that you can do to like regulate your system
Yes.
is the one thing that you know how to do, and that's
Yes.
art. Like it's
Yes.
very structured in that I know if I do this, this, and this, I'm going to get this, while
Yes.
everything else is kind of going.
And interestingly, there's another component, especially when it comes to fiber arts, stuff like knitting and crocheting. So that's something I didn't know about ADHD, or back then, if someone told me, 50 years later, you're gonna sit in front of a camera and say that you're potentially autistic, I would be like, what? Based on what I knew about it, right? But one of those things I've learned only the past few years is that there's this thing called stimming,
Right.
which I've
Yes.
always done, but I learned to mask,
Right.
right? And it was only maybe a year or two that I realized, oh my God, every time I'm sitting there in a Zoom meeting, for example, crocheting off camera, that is literally the definition of stimming, right? And it helps me regulate.
Right.
I was like, wow.
Right. That's right. And you figured that out on your own, and you're like, huh, I've been doing this the whole time. This is kind of who I am.
I think it's like I've been doing it, but I didn't have words for it.
Right.
Right?
And now you do.
Yeah. And crocheting is more accepted than doing some of the other stimming things I'm not gonna show, but
Right.
that I do.
Well, at the end of the day, we're all learning, and as we learn, hopefully these things become more acceptable. Not acceptable, accepted, more understood, and not so frowned upon, or right.
But like it's just a difference, right?
Right.
Like there's no one way that's the correct way.
I agree with you 110%. Paulina, I am so sorry that we have to end this conversation because this has been awesome. But before we get out of here, please let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh gosh, this is hard. Can I have a minute? I'm supposed to look at the camera, and can you guys give me an example? Like how do I do it? Look at the camera and then what?
You don't even have to look at the camera. You can look at me. Just are you on Instagram?
I am. Yes.
Where can they find you on Instagram?
So my handle is Linka Creates, Linka Creates.
What about Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
Also, same thing. Linka Creates. Honestly, though, Facebook just doesn't do it for me. I don't have a lot of followers on either, but
Facebook.
yeah. Instagram is just
Instagram's the best
And then
way to
also,
find
since
you.
I've noticed, it's like I've put a lot less effort into Facebook, but yes, Instagram,
TikTok.
Occasionally, mostly to do my videos. It's there, but I'm not
The best place to find you is
It's
Instagram.
probably Instagram, and
LinkedIn?
then yes, I do have a LinkedIn profile.
You do have a LinkedIn?
I do have a LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Where else? I mean, the craft markets throughout the city.
Craft
That is
markets.
something where you
Hey,
can.
go to the craft markets. Go see Paulina. She's
So
out
like
there
right
doing
now,
great
it's
stuff.
just the winter season, just kind of,
Right.
you know,
Just ended it,
slow
but
down.
March will be here soon enough.
Yes. So my first market.
In March, go see Paulina at the craft market.
Yes, and then we'll be at Rosendale Farmers Market.
Ah,
I don't
Rosendale
remember the
Farmers
date.
Market.
I don't remember the date.
We'll
but
find
it'll
it.
be
We'll
like
put it on the. We'll put it
But
on.
where else could you see me? So actually, right after this interview, I am stopping by the Piano Craft Gallery. I'm dropping off a piece.
There you go.
It's for a group show on the theme of invisibility.
Awesome, Paulina. It was so nice to meet you. This was a great conversation. You're definitely gonna have to come back and sit on the couch so we can flush this out more and have this conversation some more.
I'd love to.
Before we go, I just want to go ahead and say, if you are neurodivergent, there is nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly capable and perfectly capable and beautiful human being. Love yourself as we love you, and just keep being the person that you are. This is Brian from B1 Photography, a Boston Collective. Have a great